Dandavat pranams, vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I feel really honored and to get to speak about Gurudev, and it was pure nectar hearing your sweet realizations of how Krishna steals the heart. And Gurudev was the very embodiment of that butter thief's ability to steal the heart in just one moment, one glimpse with those beautiful blue eyes of Gurudev, and that's it. It's game on. You are headed for the kingdom, whether you know it or not. So when I first came to Gurudev, I was in Vrindavan. I had been writing to him since 1993. I was living in the Soho Street Temple in London, and I was searching for a pure guru like Srila Prabhupada. I did not want to be cheated. I wanted someone like Srila Prabhupada or no one. And I was determined to find that pure saint. And so I was living in the temple, and many people were coming and going, and I could just never find anybody that just gave me that feeling that they had Krishna in their heart. So then I came to Vrindavan in search of a guru, and I was in Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir, and I was praying to Srila Prabhupada and weeping because I was about to leave Vrindavan, and I had seen so many gurus, and yet not one person had moved my heart in the way that I knew I was meant to be moved by a pure Vaishnava. So all of a sudden I'm weeping and I'm begging Srila Prabhupada. I'm so disappointed I didn't find a guru. I've been crying and praying and begging, and I'm just so fallen and I'm so alone in this world. Please help me. And a friend from England just pulled up outside on a rickshaw and came. His name was Sridham Sakar, a very dear friend of mine at that time, like a brother. And he came into Prabhupada Samadhi and said, "Oh, Anita, Gurudev just arrived. You have to come." So I grabbed my friends and we got in the rickshaw and we went from Vrindavan to Mathura. And as I crossed the threshold into Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt for the first time, I felt something different, something profoundly sweet was here, something I had not felt anywhere else. So I knew immediately, oh, something's here. Now, you know, I had been writing to Gurudev here and there on and off and reading his books, but I had never met him personally. So I came up the stairs and there he was standing in the courtyard, and he pointed to me very eagerly. "Who are you? Where have you come from?" he said, very enthusiastic to meet me. So I left my friends and I came. I felt like I was skipping. I don't know what I was doing, but I ran to Gurudev and I fell at his feet, and then I looked up into his eyes from the ground, and he said, "Who are you and where have you come from?" I said, "My name is Anita, and I'm from England. I'm the girl who's been writing to you." And he said, "I've been waiting for you for so long." And I just burst out crying. And he said, "I want that she has a room here in the temple. She should have a room here." So Gurudev gave me a room very kindly. And he asked, "Are you qualified?" And, you know, everyone in the room, what do you say when a pure saint asks you, "Are you qualified?" Because that has so many layers of answers and so many layers of meaning. Am I qualified? Yes, I'm qualified, Gurudev. Everybody else is going, "No, Gurudev, I'm not qualified." He said, "Greed is the only qualification. If you want to see Krishna with your eyes, if you want to worship him with your mind and be moved by his love and by her love for him, then when you stand or sit before a pure Vaishnava, a pure Guru who came from that world into this world to deliver us from suffering and struggle, are you qualified? No, I'm absolutely not qualified. That's the truth. We are absolutely not qualified. But our qualification is this greed that we have for loving Krishna and Radhe and Gurudev and the entire Guru Parampara and Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda and this entire eternal spiritual family that is surrounding us with their grace and their mercy. When we remember them, when we invoke them through our praying, when we are chanting holy name, invoking Radha and Krishna to come into our hearts. And so Gurudev said your only qualification should be greed. If you believe that you belong there, that's your only qualification. And, you know, relationships in this world, they're fraught with problems. No relationship here is perfect. You can have close to perfection, but it's not perfect because everyone is ultimately out for their own selfish gain. So we inevitably find ourselves feeling disappointed or hurt or wounded by people. Relationships hurt. And if they don't hurt, then death will surely hurt when it comes. So therefore, it's essential that we find a way to climb out of this illusion of what we're not, which is this body and this ego, and that we come to realize who we are when we're before God, before Radha and Krishna. Who are you when you're standing in front of them? What would you say to them? What do you want to do for them? How could you ever bring them pleasure? Their world is so perfect, they want for nothing. And yet here, this maiden of Sri Radhe has come into this world to give this treasure of prem, this treasure of pure love. And so Gurudev described that when we are in his presence, that the heart is like a vessel, a pot that collects the treasure that the Guru fills the heart with of the disciple. At the time of meeting with the eyes, these treasures are filled in our coffers. And then after some time of not being around Gurudev, this treasure, it slowly starts waning, or it feels like it's waning, because we drill the holes of sin into our own cup. And I don't like to use this word sin, but what I'm talking about is selfishness. And selfishness manifests in many ways. So selfishness can look like wanting to be rich, chasing after things that are not of the eternal reality. Anything that is bringing you away from that path and from your consciousness of God is what one might deem a sin. Therefore, every one of these holes that we drill through the cup of our consciousness that Gurudev has filled these treasures in, that even though it feels like it's actually going away, it's always there as gemstones to be realized at some point when we are practicing, and when we are serious, and when we are sincere, and when we are prayerful and conscious of what we're doing. Krishna consciousness means to become conscious of Krishna, to stand before the Lord and Lady, or before Gurudev, before the entire Guru Parampara, before Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. And who are you when you're standing in front of them? That is your truth. And everything but that is the lie. And so that is the treasure that he has given us. And it's like a great opportunity that the goal of life has been made so readily available to us by such a saint as our Gurudev and our Srila Prabhupada, who came to this world to spread the mission of Nayana Mani Manjari, who we just celebrated, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Our entire Guru lineage is full of these maidens who came from Sri Radhe's lotus hand into this world to deliver us from our wrong way of thinking about who we are and what we're here for and what the goal of our existence is. So Gurudev was extremely merciful. Everywhere he went, he was always seeing the truth of the suffering soul. So in the mutt, I was downstairs in my room, and I was really the only lady staying in the temple. It was all full of brahmacharis and sannyasis, and some people were quite mad at Gurudev for allowing a young single girl like me into an all-male ashram.
In 1995, right?
This was in December of 1995, and then I stayed with Gurudev until he left for Holland, and then I went up to Kashmir to see my grandfather, and then I met Gurudev in London when he first.
What I understand is you are about to leave that day, and that day you met this friend of yours. Then you extended your stay for 4 months. Is that so?
Yes, I just stayed there. I didn't want to leave. There was no way I was leaving. And yeah, my friend Narad was with me, and he came and he stayed there for about 3 weeks, and then he decided to leave, but I decided to stay. So we parted there. We weren't boyfriend or girlfriend. We were just very, very close friends. But I was completely sold to Gurudev. He literally stole my heart, and he said, "I put you in my pocket forever." And he literally did it without me knowing what was happening to me. But anyway, while I was staying here in the mutt, there was one young girl, a very sweet little Indian girl, maybe 12 years old, and she was a toilet cleaner on a street girl, living on the streets, poor and cleaning toilets. So she was considered to be an unclean person by certain people who were living in the temple, I guess. Of course, I knew Gurudev didn't think that way, and nor did I. So anyway, this sweet little girl would come to my room every day, and we would somehow communicate, even though I couldn't speak Hindi, and she obviously didn't speak English, but we would communicate with hand gestures and eyebrows and glances, and it was very sweet. And I gave her some presents, and we just had this sweet connection. And one day I said, "You must come upstairs with me. I want you to come to the temple room and meet my Gurudev." So I took her upstairs, and I took her into the temple room. Gurudev's door was closed. There was nobody around, so I took her in the temple room, and I showed her where Param Gurudev's shoes were, and I showed her the deities, and we walked around the temple. And then some brahmacharis came and said, "You can't bring her here. She has to leave. You can't bring her in here. She's got to go. Why did you bring her?" They were speaking very loudly, angrily at me for bringing this girl upstairs, because she's considered to be, unclean, and the temple is a holy place where there's very strict standards of Brahminical standards of worship. So, but I, totally forgot all of that. Of course, I'm from the West. What do I know about all of these things? So anyway, then Gurudev came out of his room and saw that there was some commotion. And he came over and he asked me what was happening. And I said, "Oh, her name wasn't Lakshmi. She had another name. I gave the name." And he said, "How do you know her?" I said, "Oh, she lives on the streets, Gurudev. She's the cleaner of the toilet behind where I'm staying. She's a very sweet young girl." And Gurudev said, "Very good, very good." And he immediately took her and blessed her with it like this, and gave her the name Lakshmi. And he put his hand on her head and he blessed her, and everyone was like, "Oh, I can't believe Gurudev's doing this," and he spoke Maha Mantra to her, and he told her to wear Kanti Mala, told somebody to give her beads, and she left. So I saw many examples of this kind of generous compassion that Gurudev just oozed out of him. And he reminded me right from the start of Jesus Christ. I felt like I was around Christ, being around Gurudev. I'm not Christian. I never have been Christian, but I love Jesus and I love Jesus's teachings. And so here I was suddenly with this holy master who seemed like a living Jesus to me. And so I would get to go in his room, and just very small groups of people would be in there. Sometimes I was able to just be with one or two people, sometimes even on my own with just him and his disciple, Srila Madhav Maharaj. So the first time I came, I had many friendship bracelets tied around my wrists, many. And he asked me, what are these? What are all these bracelets? I said, oh, they're friendship bracelets, Gurudev. He said, friendship bracelets? What is that? I said, you know, like when you make a friend, they give you a little thing and you wear it here. So he says, go get my knife. So Madhav Maharaj went and ran. Back then he wasn't Madhav Maharaj, he was Naveen. And so anyway, he went and he brought the knife. Madhav Maharaj came with the knife. Gurudev had a little knife, maybe this big. Gurudev took the knife and he's coming towards me with the knife. It's the first time I've met him, you know. I'm sitting in his room. He's coming towards me with the knife. Oh my God, like he's coming at me with a knife. It's just so weird. Like, what's happening? And he just put this knife underneath all of my bracelets, ripped them off. And they fell to the ground. And then he did the next one and he ripped them off. He said, you have no friends in this world. I am your only friend. This moment was so powerful and so revealing to me of what is reality and what is not reality. Gurudev also explained to me that just because somebody wears kanti mala and tilak, that we should not automatically presume that they are Vaishnav. And I wondered why he said this to me a long time ago, but now I understand, because Bhakti has nothing to do with externals. Bhakti is an emotion. It's a feeling. It's divine love descending down through Guru Parampara from the kingdom into our hearts. So when we judge one another based on externals, we degrade our mind with the sin of criticism. The heart is a private temple which nobody sees but God and Guru. And it's so easy to make a show of one's religion. It's another thing to withdraw and pray with tears in one's eyes for that mercy to keep descending and to be allowed entrance into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And when one prays like this, Gurudev is so eager to awaken every Chintamani like jewel that he has placed within the heart when he met us in that one moment where that miraculous glance hit the heart with that eternal seed of expectation. So this is our qualification. Our qualification is that the kingdom is within us. It's within everyone. The path is laid before us, and saints like Christ or like Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada or any saint who from the kingdom descends, they come to this world to help us realize that the kingdom is within us. Therefore, Jesus taught that we should not judge. And my Gurudev always, his most favorite teaching that I heard him say in every class was, don't criticize, not even an ant. So this is the first thing. that we need to do to bring ourselves out of this constant drilling of this beautiful chalice where Gurudev has placed these treasures. It's very important that we don't criticize. If your mind is criticizing and your words are judging and gossiping about others in some way that could be perhaps harmful, should that person ever hear the truth of what you've said or what you're thinking, we drill so many millions of holes in our pot, and all that we are trying to gain in spiritual life is lost. So aparad is the first and most important thing that we end. So in Gurudev's name, I pray that anyone who listens to this pravachan can become qualified for pure bhakti in this life, and that they might realize every one of these treasures that Gurudev has planted there within the fertile soil of your heart. From that one glance that he gave each of us, so much was given that is yet to be realized, and it's a joyful path. Divine love is joyful. Gurudev didn't even understand what depression was. When I first came to him, I told him that I had an addiction to marijuana and that I used to like rolling beedies. But Gurudev is so magnanimous, and he said, any sin that is there in you, I can remove with a glance. Do not worry for these things. The only thing to worry is, how do I gain the mercy of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna Yugala? This should be our only concern. Gurudev told me, I will follow you to hell lifetime after lifetime to bring you home. And he meant this for everyone. This isn't just something he said to me, and he's not going to let it happen regardless. Anyone who has come, who has heard holy name from the lips of a pure Vaishnava, anyone who has received Gayatri within the fertile heart from the lips of a pure Vaishnava is on their way home. That process is different for each of us, yet it's the same process. As we heal ourselves and rise above our lower nature and begin to identify more with our eternal reality than our temporary reality, we come to this bridge that Bhaktivedanta Thakur speaks of in Jaiva Dharma, where the soul is crossing from the mundane, temporary world to the eternal world. But this bridge, where as you're crossing it, you have to let go of one to attain the other. And that process is different for all of us. It takes a long time for some people, and it could take a moment for someone else. And how that process is happening to each of us is personal to us alone, and it should never be judged, not by anyone. And if we truly wish to enter into the kingdom, then we must become examples of a perfect disciple. So what is a perfect disciple? A perfect disciple can look like so many things, but the main thing is that we come to this place of, I am determined to not be separated from my Gurudev. I am determined to no longer be pushed out of these eternal reality and pastimes that are going on. I am determined by my Gurudev's grace that I will do whatever it takes. I am here to serve you in this flesh at every moment of my existence. And that is my prayer. My prayer is that by my actions and by my tearful praying that something of the kingdom can be realized in this life, because I'm really tired of being reincarnated. I don't want to suffer any more death or grief. I'm done. We've done it for so many billions and billions of births. I can't do it anymore. And this is what the truth is. And we keep forgetting that death is going to take everything from us. And none of us know when that's coming. So we don't have time to progress slowly. If you're intelligent, you'll make an effort to progress as fast as you possibly can. And how we do that is when we have a great captain leading our ship with his sails across the ocean of nescience.